Poor cop took a bullet for the Mafia boss on her way home from her late-night shift. Detective Sarah Mitchell dragged herself down the empty street at 2 in the morning. Third double shift this week. Her body screamed for sleep. Her bank account screamed for money. Being an honest cop in a corrupt city paid nothing. The luxurious restaurant ahead glowed with warm light. Dante's. The kind of place Sarah could never afford. Where politicians ate with criminals. Where deals happened that destroyed lives. She'd investigated that place twice. Both cases mysteriously dropped by her superiors. Then she saw it. A glint on the rooftop across the street. Sniper scope catching streetlight. Training kicked in before thought. Someone was about to die. Sarah looked through Dante's window. A man sat alone. Late 30s. Expensive suit. Calm. Unaware. The sniper's red dot crept across the glass. Moving toward his head. Sarah didn't think. Didn't calculate. Didn't consider consequences. She ran. Burst through the restaurant door. Screaming. Get down. Sniper. The man looked up. Surprised. Not scared. Like danger was familiar. The rifle fired. The bullet meant for his skull hit Sarah's shoulder instead. Impact spun her. Threw her backward. She hit the marble floor hard. Pain exploded. White hot. Consuming. Blood spread across expensive tile. Sarah's vision blurred. Sounds became distant. She'd been shot before. Training said stay conscious. Assess damage. Call for help. But her body wasn't listening. The man stood. Looked at her bleeding on his floor. His expression was ice. No shock. No gratitude. Just cold calculation. His first instinct was clear in his eyes. Let her die? She was a cop. He could see her badge. Cops were enemies. Always had been. Let her bleed out and disappear before anyone connected him to this. Marco Santoro had hated cops since childhood. Since he'd watched corrupt officers beat his father to death in an alley. Since those same officers had framed his innocent brother. Since the justice system had destroyed his family while criminals and badges walked free. Cops were parasites. Predators in uniforms. The worst kind of criminal because they hid behind laws they didn't follow. This woman bleeding before him wore that same badge. Represented that same corrupt system. She deserved nothing from him. Saving her meant risk. Exposure. Questions. Better to walk away. Let her die alone. But something stopped him. Something he couldn't name. Couldn't ignore. She'd saved him. This cop. This enemy. She'd taken a bullet meant for his head. Deliberately. Without knowing who he was. Without hesitation. She'd sacrificed herself for a stranger. When had anyone ever done that for him? When had anyone chosen his life over their own? Never. Not once. People feared him. Obeyed him. Betrayed him. But saved him? Impossibly rare. Marco's men rushed in. Guns drawn. Scanning for threats. Ready for war. Boss, we need to move, Vincent urged. His head of security. Sniper's gone, but police will be here in minutes. We leave now. Grab her, Marco said. Surprising himself. Vincent froze. Boss, she's a cop. We leave her. Let the system handle their own. I said grab her, Marco repeated. Voice steel. She took a bullet for me. We're taking her. She's the enemy, Vincent protested. She'd arrest us all if she could. Why risk? Because I don't leave debts unpaid, Marco interrupted. And I don't let people die for me. Not even cops. Move. His men obeyed. They always did. Two lifted Sarah carefully. She groaned. Barely conscious. Blood soaking through her uniform. Marco knelt beside her. Close. Studying her face. Young. Maybe late 20s. Exhausted even before the bullet. Dark circles under closed eyes. Stress lines around her mouth. This woman was suffering long before tonight. Why did you do that? Marco asked. Not expecting answer. Needing to ask anyway. Why save me? Sarah's eyes fluttered open. Unfocused. Confused. Pain clouding everything. She looked at him. Didn't recognize danger. Didn't understand the question. Just whispered. Someone was going to die. Had to stop it. My job. Her job. She'd risked her life because it was her job. Because saving people was what she did. Even when it cost her everything. Even when the person she saved was someone she should hate. Marco had killed people for less noble reasons than duty. Had destroyed lives for profit. For power. For revenge. This woman had nearly died for principle. For a stranger. For doing what was right. It unsettled him. Challenged everything he believed about cops. About the system. About justice. Get her to the estate, Marco commanded. Dr. Santos. Tell him it's critical. She doesn't die. Understood. They moved quickly. Out the back. into waiting vehicles. Away before sirens reached them. Sarah drifted in and out. Her training kept trying to surface. Assess situation. Identify captors. Plan escape. But pain overwhelmed everything. Marco sat beside her in the vehicle, applying pressure to her wound, keeping her alive. His hands covered in her blood. A cop's blood. Blood spilled protecting him. Stay conscious, Marco ordered, using tone that made soldiers obey. You're not dying tonight. I won't allow it. Sarah's eyes met his. Clearer now, recognizing something was wrong. Who are you? Someone you should have let die, Marco replied honestly. Don't understand, Sarah mumbled. Consciousness fading. You will, Marco said. When you wake up, when you realize what you've done, you'll understand exactly how badly you've messed up your life. Because my enemies saw you save me. And now they think you matter to me. Which means you're a target. Which means you're in danger you can't imagine. Police will protect me, Sarah whispered. Believing it. Marco laughed. Bitter. Half your department works for me. The other half works for my enemies. There is no protection in your world. Only illusion. Only corruption. You're about to learn that the hard way. Sarah tried to respond. Couldn't. Darkness took her. Her last thought was simple. Confused. She'd saved someone. That was good. That was right. Wasn't it? The vehicle reached Marco's estate. Fortified. Secure. The kind of place honest cops spent careers trying to penetrate. Now one was being carried inside. Bleeding. Dying. Saved by the man she should have arrested. Dr. Santos was waiting. Private physician. Treated bullet wounds without questions. Without reporting. Without ethics that got in the way. Gunshot wound, Santos observed. Examining Sarah quickly. Shoulder. Through and through. Missed major arteries. She's lucky. Fix her, Marco commanded. Whatever it takes. She doesn't die in my house. She's a cop, Santos noted. Seeing the badge. This complicates things. I don't care what she is, Marco said. I care that she took a bullet meant for me. Now she's my responsibility. Save her. Santos worked. Efficient. Professional. Removing fabric. Cleaning wounds. Stitching. Medicating. Sarah remained unconscious throughout. Body in shock. Systems shutting down to preserve life. Marco watched. Hands still stained with her blood. His mind calculating. Processing. Planning. This woman had changed everything. One impulsive decision. One moment of courage. Now consequences would ripple. Expand. Transform both their lives. His phone buzzed. Vincent. Boss. Rival families are already talking. They saw what happened at Dante's. They know a cop saved you. They're speculating. Planning. This is bad. How bad? Marco asked. They think she's important to you, Vincent replied. They think she's leverage. Protection target. Weakness. Boss. They're going to come for her. Use her to get to you. She's marked now. Marco looked at Sarah. Unconscious. Vulnerable. Innocent despite her badge. She'd saved him without knowing the cost. Without understanding that one bullet would destroy the life she'd built. Would drag her into darkness she couldn't escape. Then we protect her, Marco said. Simple. Final. She saved my life. I'm returning the favor. Tell everyone. Anyone who touches her answers to me. Boss, she's a cop, Vincent repeated. When she wakes up, she'll try to arrest you. She'll investigate. She'll realize she has no choice, Marco interrupted. She'll realize she's trapped. That saving me painted a target on her back. That her own department can't protect her. That I'm the only thing standing between her and death. She'll hate it. Fight it. But she'll accept it. Because she's smart. And she wants to live. Santos finished his work. Covered Sarah with blankets. Monitored her vitals. She'll sleep for hours. When she wakes, she'll be in pain. Confused. Possibly combative. She'll be terrified, Marco corrected. She'll wake up in a criminal's house. Wounded. Helpless. Everything she believes about herself and her world will be challenged. It won't be pleasant. Why are you doing this? Santos asked. Curious. You hate cops. Always have. Why save this one? Marco stared at Sarah's sleeping face. Searching for answers he didn't have. Because she saved me. Because she didn't have to. Because in 20 years of living in darkness, nobody's ever chosen my life over their own. And because maybe I'm tired of being the monster everyone thinks I am. He left the room. Left Sarah sleeping. Went to his office. Prepared for war. Because that's what this was now. His enemies would come. His allies would question. The city would react. All because one honest cop had made one selfless choice. And Marco Santoro, The man who trusted no one, who believed in nothing, who'd built an empire on violence and fear, was going to protect her. Not because he wanted to, not because it was smart, but because she'd reminded him of something he'd forgotten. That honor existed. That sacrifice mattered. That maybe not every cop was corrupt. By dawn, every criminal in the city would know. Marco Santoro had a weakness now. A cop who'd saved his life. A woman under his protection. A target that could destroy him. And Marco would make sure they understood. Touch her, and face consequences that would shake the entire city. The poor cop who'd taken a bullet was about to discover that saving a mafia boss's life was the most dangerous thing she'd ever done. Sarah woke to pain. Immediate. Overwhelming. Her shoulder felt like fire. Her head pounded. Her mouth tasted copper. She tried to move. Couldn't. Panic surged. This wasn't a hospital. Wrong ceiling. Wrong smell. Wrong everything. Expensive room. Silk sheets. Dark wood furniture. Nothing institutional. Nothing safe. Memory crashed back. The sniper. The restaurant. The man. The bullet. She'd been shot. Saved someone. Then darkness. Where was she? Why wasn't she in a hospital? Where was her backup? Her department? Her gun? The door opened. A man entered. Late 30s. Expensive suit. Cold eyes. The man from the restaurant. The one she'd saved. You're awake, he said. Not a question. An observation. Good. We need to talk. Where am I? Sarah demanded. Her voice was rough. Throat dry. Who are you? I need to get to a hospital. Call my department. You're at my estate, the man replied, pulling a chair beside her bed. Sitting. Relaxed. Like he owned her already. My name is Marco Santoro. And no, you're not calling anyone. Not yet. Sarah's blood went cold. Marco Santoro. She knew that name. Every cop did. Head of the Santoro crime family. Most powerful criminal in the city. Untouchable. Dangerous. The man she'd spent 3 years trying to build cases against. Cases that always disappeared. Always got dropped. Always died before reaching court. You're a criminal, Sarah said. Stating fact. I'm a cop. You can't keep me here. This is kidnapping. This is protection, Marco corrected. You took a bullet for me last night. My enemies saw. They think you're important to me now. Which makes you a target. Which means letting you walk out of here gets you killed within hours. I don't need your protection, Sarah argued. Trying to sit up. Pain exploded. She gasped. Fell back. I have my department. The police will. The police will do nothing, Marco interrupted. His voice was steel. Sarah Mitchell. Detective. 3rd Precinct. 7 years on the force. Clean record. No family. No close friends. Lives alone. Works double shifts to afford a studio apartment in the worst part of town. You're an honest cop in a corrupt system. Which means you're completely alone. Sarah's stomach dropped. How do you know all that? Because I own half your department, Marco said bluntly. The other half works for my enemies. Your captain? Takes $50,000 monthly from me to look the other way. Your lieutenant? On the Russo family payroll. The detective you trust most? Feeds information to the Colombo organization. Sarah, there's no protection in your world. Only illusion. You're lying, Sarah whispered. But doubt crept in. She'd seen things. Cases dropped. Evidence disappearing. Criminals walking free. Fellow officers with lifestyles their salaries couldn't support. She'd reported it twice. Nothing happened. She'd assumed incompetence. Not corruption. Not this deep. I'm not lying, Marco replied. And you know it. You've seen it. You just didn't want to believe it. Because believing it means accepting that everything you've sacrificed for means nothing. That the badge you wear represents a system as corrupt as the criminals you chase. Then why did you become one of them? Sarah challenged. If you hate corruption so much, why build a criminal empire? Marco's expression hardened. Because the system destroyed my family. I was 12 when corrupt cops beat my father to death in an alley. They claimed he resisted arrest. He was innocent. Walking home from work. They wanted bribes he couldn't afford. So they killed him. Those cops. Never faced consequences. Got promoted. Retired with pensions. The justice system protected them. Destroyed us. I'm sorry that happened, Sarah said quietly. But that doesn't justify what you've become. That doesn't make what you do right. I'm not looking for justification, Marco said. I'm explaining reality. The system failed me. Fails people every day. So I built power outside that system. I protect people the law won't protect. I deliver justice the courts won't deliver. I'm not asking you to agree. I'm asking you to understand why I don't trust your badge. Why letting you save me complicates everything. Then why did you save me? Sarah asked. You could have left me bleeding. Let me die? No witnesses. No complications. Why bring me here? Marco was quiet for a moment, then answered honestly. Because in 20 years of living this life, nobody's ever chosen my life over their own. Nobody's sacrificed themselves for me. You did. Without knowing who I was. Without hesitation. That means something. Even to someone like me. I'm a cop, Sarah said. Saving lives is what I do. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't make you special. Maybe, Marco agreed. But it makes you rare. And valuable. And now very much in danger. Before Sarah could respond, a man burst into the room. Tall. Armed. Urgent. Marco's security. Boss, we have a problem, he said. The Russo family just sent a message. They know we have the cop. They're demanding we hand her over. They think she's leverage. They're threatening war if we don't comply. Marco stood. Tell them no. Boss, they're serious. They've mobilized soldiers. They're prepared to hit us hard. All over a cop we just met. Is she worth starting a war? She took a bullet for me, Marco said coldly. That makes her worth protecting. Tell the Russos if they want her, they go through me. And remind them what happened to the last family that challenged me directly. The security guard left. Sarah stared at Marco. You're going to war. Over me. This is insane. Just let me go. I'll disappear. Leave the city. You don't owe me this. I don't do things because I owe them, Marco replied. I do them because they're right. You saved me. I'm protecting you. That's how this works. I don't want people dying for me, Sarah protested. I don't want blood on my hands. Just let me handle this myself. Handle it how? Marco challenged. You're injured. You're targeted by 3 rival families. Your own department can't help you. Half of them would sell you out for the right price. Sarah, you're a good cop. Maybe the only honest one I've ever met. But you're naive if you think you can survive this alone. Then what do you suggest? Sarah demanded. I stay here? Become your prisoner? Your project? I'm a cop. You're a criminal. This can't work. You stay here until the threat is neutralized, Marco said. You let me protect you. You accept that your life changed the moment you took that bullet. And when this is over, you make a choice. Go back to your corrupt department. Pretend last night didn't happen. Or acknowledge reality. That the system you believe in is broken. That sometimes justice exists outside the law. You're asking me to betray everything I believe in, Sarah said. I'm asking you to see truth, Marco corrected. Your beliefs are admirable, but they're built on lies. The justice system is corrupt. Your department is compromised. The criminals you chase operate with official protection. Sarah, you've been fighting alone against a system designed to defeat you. I'm offering you a different fight. A different kind of justice. Justice through crime? Sarah asked. That's not justice. That's revenge. Sometimes they're the same thing, Marco replied. My father deserved justice. The system gave him death. So I created my own justice. My own rules. People under my protection are safe. People who hurt innocents face consequences. It's not legal, but it's real. Sarah wanted to argue, wanted to reject everything he said, but exhaustion overwhelmed her. Pain medication pulling her under. Questions she couldn't answer. Rest, Marco said, seeing her struggle. We'll talk more when you're stronger, when you've had time to process. But Sarah, understand something. You're safe here. Safer than anywhere else in this city. My enemies want you dead. Your colleagues can't protect you. I can. I will. He left. Sarah alone with thoughts that terrified her. Everything she believed was being challenged. The system she'd devoted her life to was corrupt. The criminals she'd chased had reasons. The badge she wore meant nothing. And the man protecting her was the same man she'd sworn to arrest. Over the next week, Sarah recovered physically. The bullet wound healed. Her strength returned. But mentally, she was trapped in impossible reality. Marco's estate became her world. Guarded. Isolated. Safe, but imprisoned. She watched how he operated. Meetings with associates. Decisions about territory. Judgments on people who'd broken his rules. He was ruthless. But he had code. Protect the innocent. Punish betrayal. Honor agreements. It wasn't law, but it was order. His people treated her carefully. Not as prisoner. As guest. As someone their boss valued. They brought her meals. Books. Anything she requested. But she couldn't leave. Couldn't contact her department. Couldn't return to her life. Marco visited daily. Checking on her recovery. Talking. Explaining his world. challenging her beliefs. He didn't try to convert her, just presented reality. Showed her corruption she'd refused to see. Names of cops on his payroll. Evidence of department cover-ups. Proof that everything she believed was lie. Why are you doing this? Sarah asked one evening. Why show me all this? Why not just keep me locked up until the threat passes? Because you deserve truth, Marco replied. You risked your life for principle. For duty. That's admirable. But it's wasted on a system that doesn't deserve you. Sarah, you're a good cop. Maybe the best I've ever met. But you're serving corruption. Fighting battles you can't win. I want you to see that. To choose differently. Choose what? Sarah demanded. Choose crime? Choose your world? I'm a cop, Marco. That doesn't change because you show me corruption. Maybe not, Marco agreed. But maybe you'll realize that being a good cop doesn't mean serving a bad system. Maybe you'll see that protection and justice can exist outside the law. That's all I'm asking. Open your eyes. See reality. Then choose. The threat from the Russo family escalated. 2 attacks on Marco's businesses. 3 of his men killed. Messages sent. Hand over the cop or face war. Marco refused every time. Protecting Sarah at cost to his organization. This is my fault, Sarah said. Guilt overwhelming. People are dying because of me. Because I saved you. Just let me go? End this. No, Marco said simply. You saved my life. These people are trying to kill you for it. That's not your fault. That's theirs. And they'll face consequences. All of them. How? Sarah asked. How do you stop an entire crime family? Marco smiled. Cold. Dangerous. By reminding them why nobody challenges me. By showing them that protecting you is more important than peace. By making examples that last generations. More violence, Sarah said bitterly. More death. This is why I became a cop. To stop this. To prevent this. And now I'm the reason it's happening. You're not the reason, Marco corrected. You're the excuse. The Russos have wanted war for months. You just gave them justification. Sarah, this was always coming. You didn't cause it. You just revealed it. That night, everything changed. The Russos made their move. Not against Marco's businesses. Against Sarah directly. Infiltrated the estate. Breached security. 6 armed men. Mission clear. Kill the cop. Send the message. Sarah woke to gunfire. Close. Too close. Her door burst open. Not Marco's men. Strangers. Enemies. Weapons raised. Training took over. Roll. Grab lamp. Swing hard. Connect with first attacker's skull. He dropped. She grabbed his weapon. Muscle memory from academy. Aim. Fire. Center mass. Second attacker fell. 4 more rushed in. Sarah fired until empty. Hit 2. 2 remained. They closed distance. Hand to hand. She fought. Injured shoulder screaming. But training held. Block. Strike. Survive. Then Marco was there. Moving like death. Efficient. Brutal. Protective. He ended the threat in seconds. The attackers didn't stand a chance. Silence. Bodies. Blood. Sarah shaking. Adrenaline crashing. She'd killed people. In self-defense, but still. She'd taken lives. Marco pulled her close. You're safe. I've got you. You're safe. I killed them, Sarah whispered. I'm a cop. I'm not supposed to. You survived, Marco interrupted. You protected yourself. You did what was necessary. Sarah, this is what I've been trying to show you. The system can't protect you. Your badge means nothing to people like this. Only strength matters. Only power. Sarah looked at the bodies. At Marco. At the reality she couldn't escape. He was right. Everything she'd believed was insufficient. Inadequate. Her badge hadn't saved her. Her training barely had. Marco's protection made the difference. They'll keep coming, Sarah said. Until I'm dead or you hand me over. This doesn't end. It ends when I end it, Marco said. Tomorrow. The Russos wanted war. They get war. And Sarah, you're going to help me. What? Sarah asked. Confused. You're a cop, Marco said. You know how they operate. How they think. How they plan. Use that knowledge. Help me take them down. Protect yourself by eliminating the threat. You're asking me to help you commit crimes, Sarah said. I'm asking you to help me deliver justice, Marco corrected. These people tried to murder you. Killed my men. Terrorized innocents. Your system won't stop them. Won't even try. But we can. Together. Sarah, choose. Stay a cop and die helpless. Or become something more and survive. Sarah looked at him. This criminal. This protector. This man who'd saved her as completely as she'd saved him. Everything she'd believed was shattered. Everything she'd trusted was lie. The only truth was survival. And Marco offered that. "What do you need me to do?" Sarah asked. Marco smiled. "Help me end this. Permanently." Dawn broke over the city. Sarah stood in Marco's war room. Maps spread across tables. Photographs of targets. Intelligence reports. Marco's entire organization assembled, planning the end of the Russo family. "Their weakness is pride," Sarah said, pointing to locations on the map. Her cop training repurposed. "They announced their intention to kill me publicly. Made threats. Showed their hand. That's arrogance. We use it against them." Marco's men stared. A cop. In their war room. Planning their attack. It was unprecedented. Dangerous. Wrong. But Marco had made his decision. She'd proven herself last night. Killed to survive. Crossed lines that couldn't be uncrossed. "The Russos operate from 3 locations," Sarah continued, using knowledge from years of surveillance. Cases that never went anywhere. Evidence that disappeared. Downtown club. Warehouse district. Family compound in the suburbs. They'll expect you to hit the club or warehouse. Business targets. They won't expect the compound. The compound has security, Vincent argued. Marco's head of security. Still suspicious of the cop. Cameras. Guards. Fortified positions. "It's a fortress. It's a home," Sarah corrected. "I've studied the permits. The blueprints are public record. There are weaknesses. Service entrances. Blind spots. Ways in that don't trigger alarms. I know because I've been trying to get warrants to raid it for 3 years." "Why didn't you?" Marco asked. Curious. "Because every judge I approached denied them," Sarah replied. Bitter truth. Claimed insufficient evidence. Insufficient cause. I had witnesses. Testimony. Proof of criminal activity. Didn't matter. The system protected them. Just like it protects everyone with money and connections. "Now you understand," Marco said quietly. "Why I do things my way. Why the law is insufficient. Why justice requires power." Sarah met his eyes. "I understand you were right. About everything. The corruption. The futility. The lies I've been serving. I hate that you were right. But I can't deny it anymore. So you'll help us?" Marco pressed. "Knowing what it means. Knowing there's no going back from this." "They tried to murder me in my sleep," Sarah said coldly. "They killed your men for protecting me. They're terrorizing this city with impunity. The system won't stop them. Won't even try. So yes, I'll help you. Not because I've become criminal. Because I've finally seen where real justice exists." Marco nodded. Respect evident. "Then we move tonight." Sarah's intelligence. Our firepower. We end the Russo family permanently. They planned for hours. Every detail. Every contingency. Sarah's knowledge of law enforcement procedures helped them avoid police response. Marco's experience with violence made the attack surgical. Precise. Devastating. "What about casualties?" Sarah asked. The question that haunted her. "Innocent people. Families. Staff who don't deserve this. We extract them first," Marco said, surprising her. "Service staff. Cooks. Housekeepers. We get them out safely. This isn't about terrorizing innocents. It's about removing threats. The Russo family leadership. They're soldiers. The people who make decisions. Those are our targets. Nobody else." "You have lines you won't cross," Sarah observed. "Rules, even in this world." "Everyone has lines," Marco replied. "Mine are just different from yours." Or they were. Maybe we're finding common ground. That evening, they mobilized. 30 men. Armed but disciplined. Sarah wore body armor Marco provided. She refused weapons initially. Then remembered last night. How helpless she'd been. How close to death. She accepted a pistol. Standard issue. Felt familiar. Wrong but necessary. They approached the Russo compound at midnight. Quiet. Professional. Sarah guided them through blind spots. Past cameras. Using her knowledge of security systems. Her years of studying these buildings. Finally useful. Finally making difference. The service staff were evacuated first. Quietly. Efficiently. Confused workers led to safety. Given money. Told to disappear for few hours. Most didn't question. In this world, you survived by not asking. Then the assault began. Fast. Overwhelming. Marco's men breached simultaneously from 3 points. The Russo soldiers responded, but were outmatched. Outgunned. Outmaneuvered by intelligence Sarah provided. She stayed back. As agreed. Watching. Coordinating. Not participating in violence, but enabling it. The distinction felt meaningless. She was complicit. Completely. Undeniably. Antonio Russo emerged from his office. The patriarch, 70 years old, built empire on extortion and murder, saw Marco approaching. Understood immediately. Santoro, Antonio said, voice steady despite circumstances. This is about the cop. A woman you barely know. You're destroying peace over her. You tried to murder her in my house, Marco replied. Voice ice. You killed my men. You declared war. I'm finishing it. She saved your life, Antonio observed. One moment. One impulsive decision. And you're willing to destroy everything. Start wars. Make enemies. All for what? Principle? Honor? Those are luxuries we can't afford. You're wrong, Marco said. They're the only things that matter. Sarah risked everything for a stranger. For duty. For doing what was right. That's rare. Valuable. Worth protecting. You wanted to kill her for it. That makes you the threat. That makes this necessary. So you choose the cop over peace, Antonio said. Over alliances. Over profit. Over everything we've built in this city. I choose justice, Marco corrected. Real justice. Not the corrupted version the system pretends to deliver. Sarah showed me that honor still exists. That sacrifice matters. You tried to punish her for it. That ends tonight. Antonio reached for weapon. Marco was faster. Single shot. Center mass. The patriarch fell. Decades of criminal empire ended in seconds. His sons rushed in. Loyal. Stupid. They died quickly. Efficiently. Marco's men showing no mercy. Sarah watched from doorway. This was justice. Brutal. Final. Effective. The Russo family had terrorized the city for generations. Bribed judges. Murdered innocents. Operated with impunity. The system had done nothing. Marco ended it in one night. Within an hour, the Russo compound was secure. Leadership eliminated. Soldiers surrendered or fled. The organization was decapitated. Destroyed. Finished. Marco found Sarah in the hallway. It's done. The threat is over. You're safe now. At what cost? Sarah asked, staring at bodies. At blood. At evidence of violence she'd enabled. How many dead? How much blood on my hands? They chose this, Marco said firmly. They threatened you. Killed my people. Forced this response. Sarah, you didn't pull triggers. Didn't make these choices. You provided intelligence. Protected yourself. That's not murder. That's survival. The system would call it conspiracy, Sarah replied. Accessory to murder. I'd be arrested. Prosecuted. Imprisoned. Everything I believed says this is wrong. And what do you believe? Marco challenged. Really believe. Not what you were taught. Not what the system demands. What does your conscience say? Are you guilty? Or are you finally seeing justice delivered? Sarah was quiet. Processing. The Russos had tried to murder her. Had killed innocents. Had operated without consequences for decades. Her department had done nothing. The courts had protected them. But tonight, they'd faced real consequences. Real justice. I don't know what I believe anymore, Sarah admitted. Everything's changed. I've changed. I can't go back to who I was. Can't pretend last week didn't happen. Then don't, Marco said. Accept what you've become. What we've become together. Sarah, you're not a criminal. You're someone who saw corruption and chose different path. Someone who protected herself when the system wouldn't. That's not weakness. That's evolution. They left the compound. Police would arrive soon. Find bodies. Start investigations that would go nowhere. The Russo family would be blamed for internal conflict. Gang violence. No evidence would point to Marco. To Sarah. They'd disappear like ghosts. Back at the estate, Sarah collapsed. Exhaustion. Shock. Trauma. She'd crossed lines. Participated in violence. Become accessory to killings. Her badge meant nothing now. Her career was over. Her beliefs shattered. Marco sat beside her. Talk to me. Tell me what you're feeling. I'm feeling lost, Sarah said. I became a cop to help people. To stop violence. To make the world better. Tonight, I helped plan assassination. Enabled murders. Destroyed an entire family. How is that making the world better? The Russos terrorized thousands, Marco replied. Extorted businesses. Trafficked people. Murdered anyone who opposed them. They did this for decades. Your system knew. Did nothing. Protected them. Tonight, that ended. Thousands of people are safer because the Russos are gone. That's making the world better. Through murder, Sarah countered. Through violence. Through becoming what I swore to stop. Through necessity, Marco corrected. Sarah, I'm not asking you to celebrate this. I'm not asking you to enjoy it. I'm asking you to see reality. Sometimes stopping evil requires methods the law won't allow. That doesn't make it wrong. It makes it real. What happens now? Sarah asked. To me. To us. I can't go back to my life. Can't return to my department. They'll have questions. Investigations. I've been missing for a week. They'll want answers. So we give them answers, Marco said. You were injured in shooting. Took time to recover. Didn't want publicity. Didn't trust department after seeing corruption. You'll file reports. Do paperwork. Then you'll resign. Quietly. Completely. Leave that life behind. And do what? Sarah demanded. Join your organization? Become criminal? That's not who I am. It doesn't have to be, Marco said. Work with me. Not for me. Use your skills. Your training. Your knowledge. Help me protect people the system ignores. Deliver justice the courts won't deliver. Be what you always wanted. Someone who makes difference. Just do it without the corrupt badge. Sarah stared at him. This criminal. This protector. This man who'd shown her truth she'd refused to see. He was offering purpose. Meaning. Justice outside broken system. Everything she'd wanted. Just not how she'd imagined. I need time, Sarah said. To process. To decide. To understand what I've become. Take all the time you need, Marco replied. But Sarah, understand something. You saved my life. I saved yours. We've protected each other. Fought together. Bled together. That creates bond. Connection. Something rare in this world. Whatever you decide, you'll always have place here. Always be protected. Always matter. The following week was investigation. Police questioned Sarah about the shooting at Dante's. About her disappearance. About the Russo family's destruction. She gave statements carefully. Explained she'd been injured. Stayed with friend to recover. Knew nothing about the Russos. Standard procedure. Standard lies. Her captain called her into his office. The man Marco said was on his payroll. $50,000 monthly to look away. Detective Mitchell, the captain said. Your story has inconsistencies. Gaps. Things that don't add up. Want to tell me what really happened? I got shot saving someone, Sarah replied. Meeting his eyes. Recovered privately. That's all. The man you saved, the captain pressed. Who was he? Don't know, Sarah lied. Never got his name. Just saw someone in danger. Did my job. The captain studied her. Seeing through the lies. Knowing more than he admitted. The Russo family was eliminated last week. Coincidence? Must be, Sarah said. I was recovering. Nowhere near that. Marco Santoro has been making moves, the captain continued. Consolidating power. Absorbing Russo territory. Some say he's protecting someone. Someone important to him. Someone who saved his life. Any idea who that might be? Sarah's heart raced. But her face remained calm. Years of interrogation training. No idea, sir. But if Santoro's expanding, maybe the department should investigate. Build cases. Do our jobs. The captain smiled. Bitter. Knowing. We both know that won't happen. Sarah, you're a good cop. Maybe too good. This city chews up people like you. Spits them out broken. My advice. Get out. Before it destroys you completely. Is that an order, sir? Sarah asked. It's wisdom, the captain replied. From someone who's seen too many good people ruined by this job. By this system. By impossible expectations and corrupt reality. You deserve better. Find it while you still can. Sarah left his office. Understanding perfectly. The captain knew. Knew about Marco. About her involvement. About everything. But he wouldn't act. Couldn't act. Because he was part of the corruption. Part of the system that protected criminals and destroyed heroes. She went to Marco's estate. Found him in his office. Made her decision. I'm resigning, Sarah said. From the department. Effective immediately. I can't serve that system anymore. Can't pretend it's worth serving. You were right. About all of it. And then, Marco asked, what will you do? Work with you, Sarah said. Not as criminal. As partner. Use my skills for something real. Protect people the system abandons. Deliver justice the courts won't. Be what I always wanted to be. Someone who actually makes difference. Marco stood. Moved closer. Sarah, once you make this choice, there's no going back. You'll be in my world completely. That means danger. Complications. Moral compromises you can't imagine. I've already made compromises, Sarah replied. Already crossed lines. Already chosen. Marco, you saved my life as completely as I saved yours. We're connected now. Bound by choices neither of us expected. I can fight that. Resist it. Pretend it doesn't matter. Or I can accept it. Embrace it. Build something meaningful from it. And what do we build? Marco asked. Something better than what exists, Sarah said. You have power. I have principles. Together, maybe we create justice that actually works. Protection that actually matters. A system that serves people instead of destroying them. Marco smiled. Genuine. Real. Then welcome to the family. Detective Mitchell. Or should I say, partner Santoro. Not Santoro yet, Sarah said. But she smiled. Possibility opening. Future unfolding. Dangerous. Complicated. Real. But maybe someday. The city learned quickly. Marco Santoro had partner now. Former cop. Someone who understood both worlds. Someone who made his organization different. More careful. More strategic. More just. Word spread. The territories Marco controlled became safer. Crimes decreased. Innocents were protected. Because Sarah brought accountability. Conscience. Lines that shouldn't be crossed. Rival families noticed. Some challenged. Testing new dynamic. They learned quickly. Marco with Sarah was more dangerous than Marco alone. Because she made him smarter. More tactical. More devastating. By month's end, the city had transformed. Power consolidated. Peace established. Justice delivered. Not legal justice. Not systematic justice. But real justice. Effective justice. Justice that actually protected people who needed protecting. Sarah stood on Marco's balcony, watching the city below. The city she'd sworn to protect. She'd failed as cop. But maybe she'd succeed as something else. Something new. Something necessary. Marco joined her. Regrets. Every day, Sarah admitted. But not about this. Not about choosing you. About everything that led here. The corruption. The failures. The wasted years serving broken system. Those years weren't wasted, Marco said. They taught you. Trained you. Made you who you are. Someone valuable. Someone rare. Someone worth saving. We saved each other, Sarah corrected. That bullet changed both our lives. Best thing that ever happened to me, Marco said. Honest. Real. You showed me honor still exists. That sacrifice matters. That power should protect. You made me want to be better. You showed me truth, Sarah replied. That justice exists outside the law. That protection matters more than procedure. That sometimes doing right thing means breaking all the rules. They stood together. Partners. Protectors. Proof that even enemies could become allies. That sacrifice created bonds stronger than law. That one bullet could transform everything. The poor cop who'd taken bullet for Mafia boss had become something else. Something powerful. 6 months after the bullet changed everything, the city was different. Marco Santoro's empire had expanded, but not through violence. Through strategy. Through protection. Through justice that actually worked. Sarah stood in what used to be an abandoned community center. Now it was headquarters for their new operation. Not criminal enterprise. Something else entirely. Something the city desperately needed. Protection services, the sign read. Legitimate business. Licensed. Legal. But with teeth the law couldn't provide. People came daily. Victims the system ignored. Women fleeing abusive partners the courts wouldn't stop. Families extorted by criminals the police wouldn't arrest. Business owners threatened by gangs the law couldn't touch. They came to Sarah. To Marco. To the only justice that worked. Tell me what happened, Sarah said to the woman sitting across from her. Mid-30s. Bruised face. Terrified eyes. Story Sarah had heard too many times. My ex-husband won't stop, the woman whispered. Restraining order means nothing. He shows up at my work. My home. Threatens me. Threatens our daughter. I've called police 15 times. They do nothing. Say they can't arrest him without evidence. Without proof of violation. But he's destroying my life. Sarah took notes. Documented everything. Then made a call. Marco, we have another one. Restraining order violation. Repeat offender. Systems failed completely. Send me the details, Marco replied. I'll handle it. Within 24 hours, the ex-husband received a visit. Not from police. From Marco's people. Professional. Calm. Terrifying. The message was clear. Stay away from your ex-wife. Stay away from your daughter. Violate the restraining order again, and consequences will be permanent. The man never bothered his ex-wife again. Never threatened. Never appeared. The fear Marco's people instilled was more effective than any court order. This is what we do now, Sarah explained to Vincent one afternoon. Marco's head of security had become her partner in this new venture. We protect people the system abandons. We deliver consequences the courts won't deliver. We're not vigilantes. We're problem solvers. We're criminals with good intentions, Vincent corrected. Sarah, what we're doing isn't legal. Threatening people, intimidating them, using fear as weapon. That's criminal activity. Is it criminal to protect abuse victims? Sarah challenged. Is it criminal to stop predators? Is it criminal to deliver justice when the system fails? Vincent, I wore a badge for 7 years. Followed every rule. Watched guilty people walk free. Watched innocent people suffer. This works. What we're doing actually helps people. Boss agrees with you, Vincent said. He's invested everything in this. Legitimate businesses to fund it. Lawyers to keep it legal. Accountants to track everything. He's building empire differently now. Because of you. Because of necessity, Sarah corrected. The city needs this. People need this. Protection that actually works. Justice that actually happens. We're filling the gap the system created. Marco entered, carrying files. New cases. More people desperate for help the law wouldn't provide. 3 new requests today. Domestic violence case. Predatory landlord. Loan shark targeting elderly couple. Sarah, we're overwhelmed. We can't keep up with demand. Then we expand, Sarah said. Hire more people. Train them properly. Build infrastructure. Marco, what we're doing works. People are safer. Lives are better. We need to scale this. Agreed, Marco said. But Sarah, we need to be careful. The more visible we become, the more attention we attract. Police, federal investigators, rival organizations who don't like us operating in their territory. We're making enemies. We're making difference, Sarah countered. That's worth the risk. Marco, you've spent 20 years building power. Now we're using it for something meaningful. Something that actually helps people. Isn't that what you wanted? Purpose beyond profit. Marco smiled. When did you become the idealist? I thought I was corrupting the honest cop. Instead, you're reforming the criminal. We're reforming each other, Sarah said. You showed me truth about the system. I'm showing you truth about your power. Together, we're building something neither of us could build alone. Their relationship had evolved beyond partnership. Somewhere between protection and collaboration, feelings had developed. Complicated. Intense. Undeniable. Sarah, Marco said one evening after everyone had left. We need to talk. About us. About what's happening between us. I know what's happening, Sarah replied. I feel it too. But Marco, this is complicated. I was a cop. You're a criminal. We shouldn't work. By every measure, we're wrong for each other. And yet we're here, Marco said. Building something together. Protecting people together. Changing this city together. Sarah, I've never felt this way about anyone. You challenge me. Make me better. Make me want to be someone worthy of you. You saved my life, Sarah said. Protected me when you should have left me to die. Gave me purpose when I'd lost everything. Marco, you're not who I thought you'd be. You're honorable in ways the system never was. You're criminal, yes. But you're also the most principled person I've ever met. So what do we do about this? Marco asked. Ignore it? Pretend it doesn't exist? Or acknowledge it? Build it into something real? Sarah stepped closer. I've spent 6 months fighting this. Telling myself it's wrong. That I can't love a criminal. That this betrays everything I believed. But Marco, everything I believed was lie. The badge was lie. The system was lie. The only truth I've found in years is standing in front of me. So yes, let's acknowledge it. Let's build something real. Marco kissed her. Gentle at first, then deeper. 6 months of restrained feelings finally released. When they broke apart, both were breathless. The city's going to have opinions, Sarah said. Former cop, current crime boss. Together, it's going to create problems. Let them talk, Marco replied. We're doing good work. Protecting people. Delivering justice. Our relationship doesn't change that. If anything, it makes us stronger. Sarah, you make me better. That's all that matters. Word spread quickly. Marco Santoro and Sarah Mitchell were together. The criminal and the cop. The protector and the protected. The city reacted with shock. Scandal. Fascination. Some of Sarah's former colleagues called. Angry. Betrayed. Claiming she'd sold out. Chosen the enemy. Destroyed everything the badge represented. You were supposed to arrest him, her former partner said. Not fall in love with him. Sarah, you've betrayed everything we stand for. I've embraced everything we should stand for, Sarah corrected. Protection. Justice. Helping people the system abandons. You're still serving corrupt department. Filing reports that go nowhere. Watching criminals walk free. I'm actually making difference. That's not betrayal. That's evolution. It's criminal activity, her former partner argued. You're helping him intimidate people, threaten them, operate outside the law. That's not justice. That's vigilantism. Call it what you want, Sarah replied. But victims are safe. Predators face consequences. Lives are better. What's your department doing? Besides protecting the corrupt and ignoring the innocent? At least I'm helping people. Actually helping them. Not pretending the system works when it's fundamentally broken. Her former partner hung up. Disgusted. Sarah felt no guilt. No regret. She'd chosen correctly. Chosen protection over procedure. Chosen results over rules. Chosen love over law. But not everyone opposed their relationship. Victims they'd helped sent support. Gratitude. Testimonials about how Marco and Sarah had saved them. Protected them. Given them justice when the system had failed. A woman whose abusive ex-husband they'd stopped wrote, "You saved my life. My daughter's life. The police did nothing. The courts did nothing. You actually helped. Thank you. I don't care what anyone says about you. You're heroes." An elderly couple they protected from loan sharks sent flowers. "You stopped criminals preying on us. Gave us safety we thought we'd never have. Bless you both. The city needs more people like you." A business owner they defended from extortion donated to their organization. "You protected my livelihood when the police couldn't. Wouldn't. Your work matters. Keep doing it." The testimonials multiplied. Hundreds of people whose lives had been changed. Protected. Saved. By Marco and Sarah's organization. By their willingness to operate outside the broken system. By their commitment to actual justice. "We're making real impact," Sarah said one evening. Reading through the testimonials. "People's lives are better because of what we do. Marco, this is what power should do. Protect the vulnerable. Stop predators. Create safety where it doesn't exist." "This is what you've taught me," Marco replied. "Before you, I used power for control. For profit. For empire building. You showed me different purpose. Better purpose. Sarah, you've transformed everything I am. Everything I do. I'm better because of you. And I'm more effective because of you," Sarah said. "My principles without your power accomplished nothing. Your power without my principles was dangerous. Together we're actually changing things. Actually helping people. Marco, we're proof that even impossible partnerships can create something beautiful." 1 year after the bullet changed everything, they made it official. Not marriage yet, but partnership in every sense. Sarah became co-director of their organization. Equal authority. Equal responsibility. Equal vision for what they were building. The operation expanded citywide. Offices in every district. Staff trained in protection services. Lawyers ensuring everything stayed legal. Accountants tracking every dollar. What had started as underground justice became legitimate organization. Different. Necessary. Effective. They still used methods the law wouldn't approve. Intimidation. Threats. Consequences outside legal framework. But always proportional. Always justified. Always protecting the innocent from those the system ignored. Rival criminal organizations noticed. Some challenged. Testing Marco's new direction. Questioning whether protection services was weakness. Opportunity to expand into his territory. They learned quickly. Marco with Sarah was more dangerous than Marco alone. Because she made him strategic. Calculated. Devastating when necessary. Those who challenged them faced overwhelming response. Not just violence. Legal action. Financial ruin. Complete destruction using every tool available. "We don't start wars," Marco explained to a rival boss who'd tested them. "But we finish them. Completely. Permanently. My advice. Don't test us. Don't threaten people under our protection. Just operate your business and leave innocents alone. We're not your enemy unless you make us your enemy." The message spread. Marco's territory became safest in the city. Not because of violence. Because of accountability. Predators knew consequences were certain. Victims knew protection was real. The system the law couldn't provide existed under Marco and Sarah's organization. 2 years after the bullet, they stood on the balcony of their expanded headquarters, watching the city below, the city they'd transformed together. "Do you ever regret it?" Marco asked. "Taking that bullet. Everything that came after. Leaving the life you knew. Becoming what you are now." "Never," Sarah said firmly. "That bullet was the best thing that ever happened to me. It freed me from broken system. Gave me purpose that actually matters. Gave me you. Marco, I'd take that bullet again. Every single time." "I would have died that night," Marco said. Without you. Literally and figuratively. You saved my life. Then you changed it. Sarah, everything good I am now exists because you showed me different way. Better way. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. We saved each other, Sarah corrected. You protected me when you should have left me. Gave me purpose when I'd lost everything. Showed me that justice exists outside broken systems. Marco, we're better together than we ever were apart. That's what matters. The city's changed, Marco observed. Because of us. Because of what we built. Crime's down. Victims are protected. Predators face consequences. Sarah, we've actually made difference. Real measurable difference. That's legacy worth building. It's just the beginning, Sarah said. We've proven this works. Other cities need this. Other people need protection the system won't provide. Marco, we could expand this. Build organization that helps people everywhere. Create justice that actually functions. Ambitious, Marco said with smile. The former cop wants to change the world. The reformed criminal taught me to think bigger, Sarah countered. You build empire on power. I'm suggesting we build empire on protection. Justice. Help. Imagine organization spanning multiple cities. States. Providing safety the law can't provide. That's worth building. That's worth everything. Then let's build it, Marco agreed. Together. Partners. Protectors. Proof that even the most unlikely alliances can create the most powerful change. They kissed. Deep. Real. Full of promise and possibility. The criminal and the cop. The protector and the protected. The bullet that should have killed had instead created something beautiful. Something necessary. Something that changed everything. Years later, when people asked Sarah if she regretted her choices, she always answered the same way. I took a bullet for a stranger. It cost me my badge. My career. Everything I thought I believed. But it gave me purpose. Partnership. Love. A way to actually help people instead of just processing paperwork. I'd make the same choice every time. Because sometimes the most dangerous decision is the most important one. Marco's answer was simpler. A cop saved my life. Then she changed it. Showed me that power should protect. That justice should work. That honor still exists. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. The bullet that brought us together was fate. Everything after was choice. And I choose her. Every single day. The poor cop who'd taken a bullet for the Mafia boss had become something more. Partner. Protector. Proof that sacrifice creates bonds stronger than law. That justice exists outside broken systems. That love can grow from the darkest circumstances. That one moment of courage can transform everything. The city was safer. Lives were better. Victims were protected. Predators faced consequences. All because one cop had seen danger and acted without thinking. Had saved a criminal and discovered he was more honorable than the system she'd served. Their story became legend. Proof that redemption is possible. That change is real. That even enemies can become allies. That sometimes the most dangerous choices create the most beautiful outcomes. And as they built their empire of protection, expanding citywide then nationwide, they never forgot the moment that started everything. The bullet, the blood, the choice to save a stranger, the decision that changed 2 lives and transformed a city. Because sometimes justice requires breaking rules. Sometimes protection means operating outside the law. Sometimes the most effective change comes from the most unlikely partnerships. The poor cop and the Mafia boss had proven that. Together. Forever. Proof that one bullet could change everything. This story proves that true justice sometimes exists outside broken systems, that sacrifice creates unbreakable bonds, and that courage to act can transform lives forever. If this moved you, subscribe for more powerful stories of redemption, protection, and unexpected love. Comment below about a time you had to choose between rules and doing what was right, and share this with anyone who needs to know that help can come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is the most important one. Thank you for watching.